This week on District Wire News, we'll follow NASA's exploration on Mars. NASA spacecraft MAVEN will blast off today for a 10-month mission to study how the planet's atmosphere has changed over time.
And LinkedIn gets a new app and is making privacy difficult to control. See how users of the new app now have to decide between sacrificing their email security for convenience. This special science and technology edition of District Wire News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jade Vac-Hill.
And I'm Sarah Weber.
NASA will launch another robotic explorer today to Mars. MAVEN, short for Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution, is taking off on its 10-month journey, where it will orbit Mars to understand how the planet changed from warm and wet to cold and dry. MAVEN is the first spacecraft dedicated completely to studying Mars' upper atmosphere. When MAVEN reaches Mars next September, it will join 2 other spacecraft on the planet and also serve as a communications relay for NASA's other active Martian rovers, Curiosity and Opportunity.
Snapchat's founder and CEO Evan Spiegel is standing by his decision to turn down Facebook's $3 billion offer to buy Snapchat. The cash offer for the social media app, made on Wednesday, was rejected despite Snapchat being a company that does not generate revenue. While Snapchat officials have given no definite reason as to why they turned down the offer, critics are speculating a number of reasons, from the cash offer not being large enough to Snapchat not wanting to be under Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's rule.
In a response to a class action lawsuit, Facebook has decided to change its privacy policy. On Friday, the company announced that they will now be using their users' posts and personal data for advertisements. The new policy has caused outrage from many users, privacy groups, and members of Congress, and also makes no exceptions for teenage users. The controversial policy plays into the company's push for its users to share more data and make information easier to find.
A new Google transparency report details who is asking for users' information. This report reveals a steady flow of government requests for Google user data. According to the report, Google has received over 25,000 data requests for the first half of 2013 alone. The report follows the recent revelation that the National Security Agency is intercepting vast amounts of Google and Yahoo users' information. However, Google acknowledges that its report is still incomplete and requires further probing into government requests.
LinkedIn is making internet privacy that much more difficult to control. With the introduction of LinkedIn Intro, the LinkedIn app on the iPhone can now access your personal email. Some LinkedIn users are wary about threats to their online privacy as a result of this new feature.
LinkedIn has a new feature for your iPhone, but many are concerned. What is the cost of convenience?
Something free, you don't pay monetarily, there's got to be a cost somewhere. How else could LinkedIn afford to exist?
LinkedIn Intro is a service for iPhone users. Intro goes into the iPhone's Mail app and puts a profile of the sender at the bottom of every message, like a signature.
Pros are that you have easier access to and quicker access to information about a potential contact or network or someone you may not know that well.
But in a time when many consumers are weary of being tracked online, some don't want to let LinkedIn into their personal email.
My immediate knee-jerk reaction was, oh my God, I'm sacrificing my email security for convenience? That seems ridiculous to me.
The cons, I think, center around what is LinkedIn doing with your data, specifically your emails and email list.
LinkedIn is trying to assure its customers the service is secure, but Balantosh is still cautious about it.
We need to be savvy digital consumers. Just because there's a shiny new app or a shiny new development doesn't mean that we should download it necessarily. As someone who's trying to make professional contacts online, I don't feel the need to use Intro. I think LinkedIn in its traditional sense is useful enough for me, and if I am trying to make connections, I'm going to forge those connections offline first and then take them online.
For District Wire News, I'm Terrence Stansberry.
Facebook is now the first social networking site to join Europe's Group Special Mobile Association, or GSMA. The association is a group of mobile operators and tech companies who focus on standardizing and promoting the GSM mobile telephone system. Executives at Facebook are saying that joining the GSMA will allow Facebook to work closely with partners in the industry worldwide and allows them to work with standards and policy issues. Still, critics are speculating Facebook is trying to stay competitive in the global market, as it has recently been falling behind comparatively to other social networking sites. Frank Fitzmaurice, American University's Director of Technology Services, is joining us today to talk a little bit more about Facebook. Thanks for being here today, Frank.
Hello.
Okay, so my first question for you is, why do you think Facebook is trying to get into policy initiatives like the GSMA and overseas?
Well, I think you hinted at it. Every couple of years, the question comes up, is Facebook fading? And I think it's come up again, but it come up with a really loud voice this time. Jenna Wortham, who writes computer blogs and high-tech blogs for the New York Times, wrote that she has now discovered that a lot of her friends have dropped Facebook. She's now discovered that she herself is using it less. In fact, if you take a look at the numbers, again, the New York Times reported this a couple days ago, more than half of Facebook users report that they go away from Facebook for more than a week at a time. And that number appears to be increasing. I think if I were Facebook, I'd take a good long look at some of these things and ask myself, am I fading? And what am I going to do about it?
And like, okay, so why people are fading and people are fading off of Facebook. Why do you think Facebook is losing its competitive edge in the social network site with other sites like Snapchat and Instagram as well?
Well, of course, Instagram is a part of the Facebook family. They bought them some time ago. So that's really what the future of Facebook may be. It may be all of these acquisitions they've made or tried to make recently, like trying to make an acquisition of Snapchat, like trying to make the acquisition of Waze, the kind of group-sourced map company. But where are they headed? If you were a Facebook investor, you'd have to really start to think long and hard about what's going on now. How can a company like Facebook expand? Is it worth my continued investment in something, or should I be looking around the corner at something like Snapchat, which may be the new shiny object on the horizon?
Right, and so what do you think Facebook needs to do to keep up with Snapchat or Twitter kind of social networking site?
I think they're going to need to do about what they're doing because there's really not any other choice. They're going to have to keep acquiring, keep making acquisitions of new hip things, and hope that they've made the right decisions. They may make it, they may not.
That's true. And do you think Facebook, in order to do this, will try to join similar U.S. policy initiatives similar to the GSMA or try working with the government in any way?
I'm not sure that's the future of Facebook or the future of social networking. I think the Edward Snowden NSA revelations make any kind of connection to the U.S. government and your personal information a little less desirable, to put it mildly. So that may not be their future.
Okay, great. And do you think that Facebook is trying to get data from users' information? Do you think that's kind of hindering people from joining Facebook or starting Facebook, especially the younger generation that's coming into the Facebook age?
Well, look at what Facebook is. Facebook is a company. It's a money-making proposition. And what they have to sell is access to you as a user, because it's your buying power, your eyeballs that they're trying to sell to potential investors and potential advertisers. The only hope they have is to find some path to expand, and the path they're on right now doesn't look like the right one.
Right. And do you have any favorite social networking sites besides Facebook, and like why?
Well, Twitter, just because it's interesting and it's new and innovative. That's what Facebook needs to become.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Frank Fitzmaurice, the Director of AU Technology Services. Thank you so much. We appreciate having you. After weeks of problems, the Obama administration says it will consider the new federal insurance marketplace successful if 80% of users can purchase health care plans online. This goal is the first concrete performance standard in the 3.5 years since the government started to design the health exchange. The standard is now guiding hundreds of government employees and contractors who are quickly trying to repair the website by the November 30th deadline. In order to assess progress towards the goal, the Obama administration has developed the two new measurements that show how long consumers must wait for pages to load on the site and how often they get error messages.
Typhoon Haiyan's destruction in the Philippines can now be seen from space. NASA scientists from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory are using data from an Italian satellite to produce a map of the damage to help aid relief efforts. Italy's Cosmosky Med satellite can detect changes on Earth's surface from man-made or natural disasters and assembled the images from this information. The images show an area of about 24 to 31 miles, and the greatest amount of damage is shown in red. And coming up after the break, we'll bring in a comet researcher to talk about the now visible comet that has been brightening up our sky for the past week and is expected to get so close to the sun in the coming weeks that it will be visible to the naked eye by Thanksgiving. Stay tuned after the break.